Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So I wanted to do a Q&A video. So first of all, for those that posted questions, thank you so much. For those that want to take part in these Q&As, I do them every single Wednesday. I know that today is Monday, technically. I'm actually really off right now in terms of my days because I think there's a holiday this weekend. So I thought today was Sunday actually, but it's actually Monday. So yeah, I normally post Q&As and whatnot, obviously on Wednesdays and all that, done that for a very long time. But because The Walking Dead is sort of off right now, you know, the schedule is a little bit different, but I do want to get some stuff here on track. Like later on, I will be posting a video on Daredevil Born Again, so stay tuned for that. I just sort of want to give my thoughts on the trailer that came out and also give my thoughts on like, you know, like where the story could go and all that for the season. And then I'll get into all the, you know, fun stuff that comes out, just sort of like all the breaking news about that for that show and all that. And also cover The Last of Us as well, because there is some news with that. And yeah, so yeah, before any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. But let's get into the very first question here. I'm going to start in a different order here. So yeah, Q&A. With the potential for a Gabriel/Aaron spinoff, how would you feel about this show picking up with Ash and Laurent as they enter the US? I immediately think back to The Ones Who Live and Gabriel seemingly seeing two helicopters overhead. What if this was actually Ash's plane and a CRM helicopter in pursuit? I also just feel like Ash and Aaron makes for an interesting pairing. Also, Ross Marquand is killing it this season on Invincible. Yeah, Invincible, I have to catch up on that. I've actually been catching up on Dragon Ball Daima, and I will be posting a full season review on that as well. There's 2 episodes left of that, so I'm waiting until that's over, but that'd be really cool, honestly, to see like, you know, an Aaron and like Ash spinoff, or I guess it would be a Gabriel and Aaron spinoff, but Laurent and Ash would be a part of it. Like, yeah, I think that could work potentially. I think that there's just other characters though that are around. You would have to explain it in some way as to why they're not, you know, a part of the story, because if there's a threat that's like big enough, then like it makes sense that they're probably going to be around, right? So you have to make it where like, you know, that the fact that they can't be around, have that destroy sort of, you know, the excitement for how scary this villain can be, because the villain needs to be, you know, obviously really amazing and all of that. And that's why people watch for a really good villain, a really good story and all of that. And so, yeah, I don't know how they would do it, to be honest, but I think if Ash and Laurent were a part of the story, that'd be really interesting. The one idea that you mentioned, though, actually about Gabriel seeing Laurent and Ash actually like arrive to Alexandria, that's kind of cool. Like, I do feel like maybe that's more related to Rick and Michonne, though. But I mean, I could see it being Laurent and Ash, right? Like, if they landed somewhere else, eventually ended up with the CRM, and then got a helicopter ride to, I guess, the Commonwealth or something like that, or Alexandria, that would make a lot of sense to me. But yeah, like you do gotta wonder, because Gabriel did see the helicopters flying over, right? Like, who was that? Like, as of right now, I'm assuming it was Rick and Michonne, but yeah, you do gotta wonder. Q&A. Assuming Hershel begins a villain arc towards the end of Dead City Season 2, do you think it's likely that we will see him learn the value of performance from Negan in terms of controlling a crowd, resulting in the spoiled showman that he became at the end of the comics? I sense Bruegel and the Dama also have important parts to play in his development. I really do like that. Yeah, because Hershel, to me, I want that version of the character in the comic. Like, I remember when that actually first happened with the comic, a lot of people didn't like it. Like, it was the one thing that I just saw so much hate for. And I also liked the idea. So, you know, people didn't like the fact that I liked it, but your characters aren't always going to be heroes, right? Like, I understand it. Like, he's Glenn's son, so you want him to be just like Glenn, right? But it doesn't always work like that, right? Like, sometimes your father could be an amazing person and the son's just not, or the other way around. Like, the father's not a nice person, but the son is, right? Like, things just change. And it's because, you know, people have different upbringings. And I would say for sure, Hershel, he had a totally different life growing up, you know, than Glenn did. And we don't even really know too much about Glenn, but like Hershel, like, you know, when you look at Maggie, like, yes, I'm sure she's a really good mom and is always there for Hershel and everything, but she does focus a lot, you know, on her own like career and, you know, the leadership, and she always takes like big like responsibilities on like that. And I think that that could affect Hershel a lot, because we sort of saw that in season 1. Like, Maggie is just always focused on like, we got to do this, we got to do that. And you know, Hershel just seems angry about it. Like, why are you always doing this? Like, why are you always so focused on Negan and like this and that? And I think that that's just sort of how he's been dealing with it. That, at least in the comic, it was like that, you know, with Maggie, because she became like the leader of the Commonwealth, or the president of the Commonwealth, right? And then Hershel just became like this spoiled person that basically just sort of did whatever he wanted to. No one really liked him ever. So like, you can kind of see him becoming that here in the show, though. I think he will be a little bit different. I don't think he'll act very entitled like that. I think it's a little bit different. He'll be a little bit more angry, I think, in this show here. And yeah, I think obviously Bruegel and Dama having really important parts in Hershel's story here. I think that's honestly really, really exciting. Like, Hershel is the one aspect of season 2 that I think people are going to be really, really excited about, because he really is going to be like a main character. He hasn't been a main character ever. He's always just been around, right? Like in season 11, he was just sort of there with Maggie, right? And in season 1, he was really just there at the end. And the scenes with him at the end with Maggie are really, really cool too. So like, again, I'm really looking forward to season 2 and just seeing what they're going to do here, like just with the character and like what it means overall for the story, because it could open up so much for The Walking Dead. But yeah, Q&A. You think the universe would improve if they just hired a different universe runner like Scott Gimple? I have some issues with Scott Gimple for sure. I don't know if the universe would be in a better place, because I'm really happy with sort of where things are at, even though I'm not a fan of the Ones Who Lives ending. I mean, that's one of those things where I feel like, Andrew and Denai also really wanted that sort of ending where they could sort of end that CRM arc and then start something new in a different series or a different season or show or just whatever, a story, right? So in terms of Gimple running everything here, I mean, I guess there's certain things that I'm not really a fan of. Like Tales of the Walking Dead was okay, but like it could have been so amazing. And I just don't understand why, it wasn't done as great. Like there was a lot of things there that honestly, that first season could have been so amazing. Like one of the best spinoffs we've had in a very long time. So I don't get the decisions made in terms of the story choices and, and I guess overall structure of that show. And so, I mean, it's hard to say, Scott Gimple also did choose Carl to die, right? Or I'm pretty sure he did. It was his decision, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong with that, but I'm pretty sure it was him. I mean, honestly, like anyone else could have been in that place, and like maybe Rick never came back to The Walking Dead, right? Or maybe Daryl got killed off years ago. So it's one of those things where it's like maybe the world could be more exciting now because there could be a lot more shows out. The spinoffs that we did get, like maybe there would be, better stories there. Because I will say, like, only having 2 shows of The Walking Dead on right now is definitely something that is a big mistake. Like, we need at least like 3 shows for sure, because that was one of the things with Fear the Walking Dead that just made everything really exciting, was like you had The Walking Dead, or like you had another spinoff, like maybe The World Beyond, or just something else out there. And then there was Fear the Walking Dead. Like you always sort of had 3 projects going, right? Or like you had like the webisodes and all that. Like there was a bunch of stuff happening. Like right now, it's just 2 shows. Like it's The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon and The Walking Dead Dead City. To me, that is not enough. Like I see it all the time. Like I do understand it in a sense too, in terms of AMC wanting to release shows, because like Daryl Dixon finished airing in November. Like, do you want to have a show in February? I'm assuming so, but you also kind of want to have the show out, I guess, when it's going to be like very, very successful. And I don't know, to me personally, in terms of how everything's being run, they definitely need like another show out there. I don't know if that's Gimple's fault though, or if that's just AMC like only wanting to do these shows, but who knows? Like there's rumors about like another show potentially starting filming this summer. Again, those are just rumors, so we have no idea, but like, things could happen this summer, like by Comic-Con, we could get an announcement. So we'll have to wait and see. Just as of right now, things aren't in the best place, like over the last year, because it's almost been a year since The Ones Who Live aired. Ever since that finale, like things have felt very, very quiet. Things are starting to pick up a little bit right now because there's more excitement for Dead City. And I imagine once we get the trailer, the release date, and see a lot more footage and what the story is going to be, it'll be more exciting than Daryl Dixon season 2 for sure. And then season 3 of Daryl Dixon looks better, right? So I think there will be an increase overall in excitement, but yeah, there's got to be something else announced very soon, because I think that it's just too quiet right now. But yeah, anyways, Q&A, do you think we could see a crossover with the OG show on Dead City? Like Aaron and Gracie, Gabriel and an older Coco, or maybe Lydia and Elijah at the Bricks. I do think we're going to see other characters in these spinoffs. Like I think Lydia, honestly, is one of those characters that makes the most sense. Well, Lydia makes sense a lot for Daryl and Carol's story. I could totally see Lydia like in a season 3 or 4, but it just makes no sense because of the location. I think to do that right now would just be kind of insane. But if she was in Dead City, I mean, that would be really incredible. Honestly, Dead City can have so many characters on that show. I hope that they do it though, because like you're already like after season 2 here, you're going into season 3. So like you do want to have other characters, right? Like you want to have like either Lydia or like Dwight and Sherry or or whoever, right? Like, you do want to have a lot more characters here in the show because, like, you don't want to save the crossovers for like a season 4, 5, or 6. Like, make the show exciting right now, right? So just start doing it right now. But yeah, I think a crossover with Dead City should be happening very soon. I could totally see us getting an announcement at some point, like even like this year specifically. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Q&A, do you think that only releasing 2 6 to 8 episode The Walking Dead universe shows is hurting the franchise with huge gaps in between each show? I don't see any of the people I know discussing The Walking Dead anymore these days, like back in the season 6, 7 days. Also, will you be going to the new Fantastic Four film in July? It has Pedro Pascal in it. Love all your vids. Thank you so much. Yeah, I will be going to watch that. The trailer, I actually liked the trailer a lot. I know that some people didn't, but I actually liked it. I'm going to watch it because I think Fantastic Four, this new movie, kind of reminds me of that cartoon, The Jetsons, a little bit. So that's sort of the, I guess, the tone they're going for. Like, it looks really great. Honestly, I'm excited for that. I will be watching that. In terms of, like, I guess I sort of just touched on this. I do think, yeah, like, releasing 2 6 to 8 episode shows definitely, I think, is hurting the franchise right now because of that whole discussion factor. Like, there's not a lot of discussion for a while. Like, I do understand that you do want to have those downtime moments because, like, if you constantly had a bunch of news coming out all the time, people would get sick of it over time. But it's a little bit too much now, to the point where I feel like some people might just be forgetting about the show, right? Or forgetting to even check out the other season because they just sort of moved on past it. Like, you want to have some excitement and interest there overall going on with The Walking Dead. And there hasn't been a lot, over the last year. Things did get better, though, after Daryl Dixon season 2 finished airing because of the teaser for season 3. And then also we got the teaser for season 2 of Dead City, and we saw like power going on in Manhattan and everything. So things got a little bit better from where we were at like all summer and like also during the release of Daryl Dixon season 2. But yeah, obviously I think we're not at a good place right now overall. Like, we're never gonna get back to like the season 6, 7 days, because that was really insane. Like, during season 4, 5, 6, around there, like, everyone was talking about The Walking Dead. We're never gonna get back to that because that was like the show at its peak, right? Like, the viewers were insane. But, to go back to like season 9 around there is very possible. Like, that can actually happen. Like, it was basically there during The Ones Who Live, right? Like, The Ones Who Live, the numbers that the show got in terms of cable ratings. And again, actually, no, it wasn't cable ratings. It was for AMC Plus. Like, the numbers were like super high. It was like a 6-year high. And you go back 6 years at that point, and it basically took you to like season 8, season 9. So like, yeah, you could match those numbers. And those numbers are really high. I don't really understand the overall direction of The Walking Dead right now. It definitely is something that is very frustrating, and I do see people really frustrated with it. And like, it's funny because like, whenever we do get some news, like, there's excitement there. Like, you do see it. People are like really happy about it, but there's just not a lot. Like, things have been way too quiet because it's mid-February now. We're getting towards, I guess, the ending of February soon. And when's the last time they really promoted anything with Dead City? I feel like it was literally early November. Like, I don't remember anything else happening. So like, it's been 3 months now of, well, has it been 3 months? Yeah, 3 months. It's been 3 months of just like nothing. And we knew then that the release date was going to be in spring. And so, we're getting to the point where spring is almost here. Like, spring is a month away. We should know the release date by now. Like, we really should, because Daryl Dixon season 3 is coming out in like September. Maybe it ends up being in October or something now because, I don't know, say they push it off. But like, they're not gonna, that's the one thing with that show. And I think why they kept it at 6 episodes is because of the schedule to have it actually come out every single year around the fall. But yeah, I don't know. Honestly, for Dead City, it is something that is pretty frustrating right now because I don't know why they're handling it the way they're handling it, right? So we'll have to wait and see. I'm questioning in terms of season 3, like, when this show is even going to start filming, because like, I know it's quiet right now, and I imagine when they release the release date and like when the show comes out and all of that, a bunch of information will come out where it's like, okay, they're starting to film in like April or May. And then they film until when, like September or something like that. I don't even know when. Maybe not even that long, like August or whatever. And then you can edit and everything and have the show out again for like May as well in 2026, right? So I guess it makes sense. There's still a lot of time here, in terms of them starting filming for season 3. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Q&A. Do you think we'll ever get a reunion between Esteban and Rick? I think it would be so cool, honestly. He was such a funny character. He was a really, honestly, just a nice character to have on the show. like you do want to see him again. I would love to see Esteban again. It would be so cool. So yeah, definitely bring him back. I would love to see a reunion with Esteban and Rick. Actually, you know what? I want to see them reuniting over Daryl and Rick. Q&A, how would you feel if Rick wasn't a part of the shows anymore in a big way, and it was just more of a cameo? For me, it wouldn't really affect me because I feel it makes sense that he would get home after almost a decade and just want to be with his family. I think that does make sense, I guess, but you're also going to get bored really fast. And obviously he does want to spend time with his family. I'm not saying he's going to get bored of his family, but just like, you know, hanging out at home, like you're going to want to start doing stuff and all that, right? And Denai Guerrera actually answered this question. I think it was like right after The Ones Who Live finished airing. The question was like, you know, if there's going to be a season 2 or like a new story, like where do you see Rick and Michonne, you know, being at that point? And she was saying something like, you know, well, obviously they're going to spend time as a family, but I think that they do have like an obligation, obviously, to the CRM and helping out other communities and stuff like that. So they probably will do that. So I do see that being still a big part of their lives. And that's where I think the start of a new story would happen. Anyways, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you so much for all of your questions. I really appreciate it. Again, if you do want to take part in these Q&As, go and join the Discord. The server name is Appetite for the Dead. There is a link in the description of this video. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.